It's that time of year again. We need things that are warm and enveloping, sweet and spicy. So, someone asked me a while ago to talk about warm, spicy perfumes, and I realised I've got a lot in my collection. So, this is going to be the heavier warm spices because obviously we're now in autumn moving into winter and Christmas. So, I have, in fact, to be honest, a lot of my wintry perfumes are a bit spicy. Obviously, that kind of thing goes hand in hand. Like warm spices, they're just perfect for colder weather. But I'm going to go through these in kind of sections, but I'm going to start with just what I consider to be generally very spicy perfumes. Kind of all kinds of spices, Christmas spices, warm spicy in a more general way. So I'm going to start with one from Lush. This is one that I have a pen spray of, but currently you can get this in body spray form. And to be honest, I think the body spray is much easier to deal with. It's a bit lighter, it's a little bit kind of creamier in a way. But I have the Parfum, or the perfume, I should say. So Yognog from Lush is, I mean, it's an absolute beast. You've got to be careful with this one, and you also have to like cloves, and you have to really like spices and very sweet perfumes. I mean, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of matte at the top of mine because it is just so sweet. Um, it's very, very sugary. I always thought that the body wash of Yognog has like a custardy sweetness in the base. I think you get less of that with the perfume, and the body spray is somewhere between the perfume and the body wash. So they only give you notes of ylang ylang and clove here, but this generally just smells like Christmas to me. It almost smells like a panettone or something. It's very heavy, it's very spicy. It would definitely drive you up the wall if you don't like strong perfumes or if you don't like Christmassy spices, you know? But I think that this one is just, this is like a real Christmas scent to me. So I like this one. I will wear this in December, and you really only need a small bit, to be honest, even of the body spray. But yeah, they have the body spray back, so you can get this one again. Next up, this is another little pen spray I have. This is called Passion, and this is from Makeup Revolution. So Revolution, basically, they do makeup. I quite like some of their makeup, but they have started to do dupe perfumes. These are dupes of famous perfumes. Passion Eau de Toilette is a dupe of Black Orchid from Tom Ford. Now, totally divisive perfume. I understand why. I think this is a really wearable version. It's nowhere near as strong, but it has the essence of Black Orchid. And the thing with Black Orchid is that it is earthy, but it's also very floral. It's quite sweet. It's a bit powdery. And it's definitely got like dark spices in there. So all they tell you here from about Passion is it's got earthy notes, woodsy notes, chocolate, spices and amber. And you do really get those classic spices here. It's probably got like a whole bunch of classics like you get in things like opium. You know, it's got a woodiness. You can get a hint of chocolate. But this is like something I like to wear for like parties at winter. I think it's grown up, but I think it's actually quite sexy. Although I have to say my husband doesn't like this. Although he's never not liked it on me, but he doesn't like Black Orchid because he thinks it smells too mature. I, on the other hand, think it's a really beautiful perfume. But I don't think you need to spend Tom Ford prices on it because it's so easy to get good dupes. And I don't ever need it to be as strong as the original. So Passion for me is like a really good shout for a more affordable version of something like Black Orchid. So another one, this is also very random, but this is a generally spicy perfume that kind of, I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not in any way a dupe, but this is, it's called Shush. It's by Jade Goody, and it's got this strange bottle, a very cheap bottle, and it's a cheap perfume, but it's one that I think doesn't smell cheap myself. So Shush by Jade Goody, it reminds me a little bit of Chanel Coco Eau de Parfum. Not Coco Mademoiselle and not Coco Noir, just the original, or at least the modern version of Coco. eau de parfum. That is a gorgeous, sweet, warm, spicy perfume. This is the same, but there is more of a brightness. It's a little bit more fruity. It's a little bit more modern. It's kind of like a bit of a modern take on something like Cocoa. And you can get this in the UK for about a tenner. Or at least that's how much I paid for it. I think you can still get it. It might be slightly more expensive now because I don't know that they produce this anymore. But I know you can still get it because I checked. This lists on Fragrantica cassis, bergamot, citrus in the top, cinnamon, cumin, rose, iris, pink pepper, jasmine and freesia in the mid. Base notes patchouli, vanilla, amber, sandalwood, moss and musk. But I did find a press release and they mention cassis tea. So there's a cassis tea and randomly cotton candy, and I can completely see that there is a very slight kind of vanillic candy floss smell in this, and I think the cassis tea and the candy floss is what's making this smell just a little bit more modern than something like Cocoa. I mean, to be honest, I would love to have a bottle of Cocoa as well. Like, Cocoa equally deserves its place in this list. It's a fabulous perfume. I don't like Cocoa Noir at all, but I like, because I find that one very sour, but I think the actual Cocoa Eau de Parfum is absolutely delicious. But this one, it smells really classy. And it's, again, it's the kind of thing I would wear to a fancy party at work or something. Because I do think it's very easy to wear. It's sweet, it's warm, it's really cozy. It's just very, very pretty. So yeah, that's a good one. So that's Shush by Jade Goody. So we're jumping around a bit because I've got a few tiny bottles here, I'm realising. So this is Jimmy Choo Illicit. The colour of the liquid is quite descriptive, I feel, of the general scent that you get with this one. So Illicit has a lovely bright ginger note in the top. It's very gingery when you first spray it. This is one of those perfumes that it shares a general profile with YSL Cinema, but this one is definitely more gourmand. It's more gingery and it's also got honey and caramel in the base. So this dries down to be a kind of a spicy floral with a gourmand base is how I think of this one. There's ginger and bitter orange in the top. There's jasmine, sambac and orange blossom and rose in the mid. And you really do get that orange blossom. This, to me, is a kind of honeyed orange blossom scent. Base is honey, amber, caramel, vanilla, sandalwood and cashmere wood. You do get quite a lot of the cashmere wood in this as well. But I do think that you need to spray this one out and let it dry down. It smells a little bit synthetic when you first spray it out, but the dry down is kind of addictive. It's like a honey caramel orange blossom with, like I said, a hint of spice. And you can get this for a really good price. It's a really good affordable alternative if you do like YSL Cinema. And it's just a lovely, lovely perfume for warm, spicy times. So I'm very sad to say that this one, you can't get this in the same bottle anymore, but happily you can still get the actual perfume. So this is Untold, and this is Untold. Let me just find the bit on it that says, there we go, get it right. Untold Absolute from Elizabeth Arden. So you can still get the original Untold and you can get this Absolute version, and you can get them in different bottles. I will put it up on the screen so you can see what the bottles look like now. It has kept the price down on these, so you know that's fair enough, but it's a shame because they're really cool bottles, these original. Yeah, so Untold Absolute. This perfume is a benzoin bomb. Now, I love benzoin. If I'd included benzoin in these perfumes, there'd have been so many more because I've got a lot of perfumes with benzoin in. And I personally get like a gingerbready smell from benzoin. Often get a lovely warm, spicy, cozy, sweet scent from that. But here you've also got ginger, so you've got a lot of vanilla and tonka bean in the base of this as well. So it has a creamy, custardy, almost gourmand base again. But then you have a more mature kind of grown-up scent sitting on top that actually smells like a perfume. So this has plum, raspberry, ginger and bergamot in the top. And then you have Egyptian jasmine, flowers, and general flowers, don't know, and narcissus in the mid. The base notes are Tahitian vanilla, tonka, benzoin, and cashmere woods. Now, I think that this one is a perfect one for something like a work party again, because this isn't the sort of perfume I like to wear around the house. It's too perfumey, it's too grown up, and I would call this one a sort of classically chic style perfume. It's the sort of thing that I'd expect someone wearing like a beautiful black party dress to be wearing. It's kind of grown up sexy, I think, this one, because it does have that lovely sweetness, but this one has a lovely juicy plum in it. And then you've got that kind of warm, spicy ginger and benzoin combination. I don't get the jasmine the strongest. I think it's quite equal between that and the narcissus. And then, like, I mean, there is just something generally flowery about it, but it's not crazy. And then again, you've got that cashmere wood. That turns up in quite a lot of the spicy perfumes. But yeah, I think that this is such a lovely perfume, and it's such a good value, warm, spicy for like when you really want to be kind of ladylike and smart and chic. Okay, so we're transitioning now into the kind of generally spicy with like a hint of ginger. We're moving into the more mixed up spices. I simply cannot do warm spicy without talking about this perfume. And this is quite an outlier in my perfumes, because this is the only one that you're going to see that is like very unisex and also very woody. But I love this scent. So this is Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. I have the body oil version of this as well. I actually have the hair and body spray too. So, I mean, Stash is something so special to me. It reminds me so much of Christmas because there's something resinous and slightly piney about this, but it's then very syrupy, it's very woody. It's what I imagine sitting in a log cabin next to a fire and a big Christmas tree. It's like how I imagine that to smell. But I always say I'd be drinking a kind of a gingery hot toddy, and then I'd be nibbling on pistachios. Like, that's the kind of vibe I get from this. And it does slightly remind me of Christmas trees. Like, but actual real Christmas trees, not the piney fresh smell that you get in some perfumes that have like cedar or fir trees. This actually reminds me of the smell of the Christmas tree, like when I go to see my mum and dad's. There's something so evocative about it, but it's really sweet on me. There's black pepper, sage and grapefruit in the top. The mid notes are atlas cedar, patchouli, pistachio and white ginger lily, and that genuinely comes across as gingery to me. And then you've got Masoya wood, olibanum, vetiver and musk. There's just something addictive about it, but it's definitely not going to be for everyone, but it's so affordable. It smells extremely expensive and niche, this perfume. And it is madness to me that you can get this for so cheap. It's technically discontinued, but you can find it very easily in the UK. And I did see an interview with SJP where she was asked if she was going to bring Stash back, and she did say maybe one day. But I imagine this might have been discontinued purely because it has something in it that maybe you're not allowed to use anymore. But it is just, oh my God, I just think it's amazing. My husband really likes this one as well. Speaking of stuff my husband likes, he really likes this perfume. I have this. This is a dupe, but sadly you can't get the dupe anymore, but you can get the original, so that's good. And the original is quite affordable, to be fair. So this is, I'm just gonna, let's rejig you, my love. La Rive, My Only Wish, which is a dupe of Cacharel's Yes, I Am. And this is like, it's such an interesting perfume, this one. I really do think it's... The thing with Cacharel is I think their perfumes are like super original. They never really smell like anything else to me. You've got Noah, you've got Eden, you've got Lulu, you've got Amore Amore. They feel like they start trends, you know, or at least they do quite interesting and original things that are kind of fitting in with trends. But anyway, hopefully you'll have a picture up somewhere of what actual Cacharel Yes I Am looks like. But this one, it's very fruity in that kind of very girly celebrity scent fun way. But then it also has a lactonic note that gives it a slightly strange creaminess that I kind of love. And then it has quite a few spices in it. So this is like a real mixture of spices. This also has ginger in it, but it has a bunch of other amazing spices. So this is raspberry, tangerine, lemon and bergamot in the top, orange blossom, ginger, flower, gardenia, jasmine, rose and amber in the mid. And then in the base you've got caramel, milk, vanilla, cardamom, coumarin, benzoin, licorice and sandalwood. Now the whole mixture of this just becomes almost like a young gothy sexy lady kind of smell, because I do think of this as being slightly gothic in a weird way, but it's also very bright and very fun, super girly, very sweet, syrupy, has a bit of a plasticky doll head smell to it that I love, and I get that quite a lot when there's cardamom in a perfume. So I feel like I can really smell the cardamom. I get a hint of the licorice, but not very much. Definitely warm from the benzoin, definitely warm from that ginger flower, the caramel and the milk. I mean, it's so good. It's such a good perfume, and I get kind of addicted to this one when I have it in colder weather. I have another dupe of Yes I Am, which is from Pascal Morabito, and I think it's called Amer, and I keep that one at work. I put this one on at home and then I top up with that one at work. But yeah, Yes I Am is still available and it's in a really cool bottle. So yeah, such a good warm spicy if you like kind of fruity girly perfumes. Really good, that one. Right, so we're going to move from there because that had so many spices in it, but we're going to go on to the licorice group. So I really do like licorice in perfumes. I think it's absolutely delicious. So, I mean, really, we should start with what I think is the absolute queen of all licorice perfumes. And that is, unsurprisingly, I imagine, Lolita Lempicka Le Parfum. So the original Lolita Lempicka is very similar to this current Le Parfum formulation. Then I don't think they're identical, but very, very similar. This is, I think, the closest you're going to get to that scent. It is spectacular. This is a very sexy perfume. I've had a couple of men tell me that they think this one is sexy. My husband thinks it's sexy. This really is a musky, spicy, warm, fruity, floral. It's got everything going on in it, but nothing is too much for me. Some people definitely would find this too much, I'm sure. But I just think this is an absolute masterpiece level perfume. And it's been copied many times. And, you know, the closest thing to this I think I've smelt is La Petite Robe Noire from Guerlain. But that one is just not... It's just not as good. I just don't think it's as good. I think the patchouli is stronger. It's just not as beautiful as this one. So this is Star Anise, Violet and Ivy in the top, Licorice, Cherry, Iris, Orris Root, Amaryllis, Vanilla, Praline, Tonka Bean, White Musk and Vetiver. And I'm pretty sure there's some patchouli in here as well, but not too much that it bothers me. So you get a lot of the cherry, you get a lot of the violet, you get a slight powdery, lipsticky smell from all the Orris and Iris. And then you've got this really beautiful licorice running through it with a very sweet undertone from that praline. It is definitely there. And then the white musk here is like such a sexy musk. It's very, very pretty. It's very sultry. This is an absolute winner on date nights. I think I wore it last year for New Year's as well. Absolute winner. Love this perfume. If you don't like licorice so much, then the Mon Premier version of this is cheaper and there's more cherry, there's much more of the praline and there's much less of the spices. But if you're watching this video, you probably like warm spices. So yeah, absolute winner. One of the best ever. So let's stick to licorice and let's stick to Lolita Lempicka because I have another licorice beauty from this. Oh yeah. This is such an interesting perfume. So this is Lolita Land. You'll see how dark this is, but you can see it says Lolita Land across here. It's got this very kitschy camp. And then this, I love the actual bottle though. It kind of looks like a pumpkin. I think it's really cool. So Lolita Land I don't think I can really find much of a way to actually put it on there, so let's just put it like that. I always describe this as a spiced cake, like a very highly spiced cake covered in apricot jam with a side of like vanilla custard. But realistically, it also has a Bellini note. So it's got this kind of fizzy acidity to it when you first spray it. That definitely kind of chills out. For me personally, this is one to wear in very cold weather. This is something I find a bit sickly when it's kind of warm. I could never wear this when it wasn't like wintry. But in winter, and in fact in very cold weather, this is majestic. So the notes in this are Bellini, orange, Italian mandarin, pepper, lemon, grapefruit and lime. So you've got the black pepper sneaking in here. Then you've got white peach, plum, black currant, jasmine, sambac, jasmine, magnolia and rose in the mid. And then the base notes, Madagascar, vanilla, licorice, benzoin, white musk and sandalwood. So it's got that gingerbready benzoin in there as well. That's what I mean. It kind of smells like a spiced sponge cake to me. All of the peachiness and orange just comes across more apricotty to me because I'm very fussy about peach. Peach often makes me feel a bit sick. And the Bellini is not too overpowering here. And it calms down. But there's definitely a very noticeable vanilla here. It's the same vanilla that's in Lolita Lempicka Green Lover. So it's got that lovely sort of custardy, creamy feel to it. It's honestly just absolutely glorious. It's such an affordable, lovely perfume. You'll often see it much paler than this, but as soon as you start using it, it's going to get darker and darker because there is so much vanilla and there's so many spices and things in here that change colour. But yeah, absolutely beautiful perfume. Now, I'd say the next one is kind of queen of lavender perfumes, but it does also have licorice in. Now, I've chosen for this particular video the one that I wear in cold weather. Oh my goodness. This is Mon Guerlain and this is Mon Guerlain Intense. So this is the Eau de Parfum Intense version. You'll know because it has this darker, really cool coloured lid. I mean, how would you even describe that? It's like a kind of dark browny, burgundy, winey kind of colour. Just really gorgeous. I cannot tell you how much I love the original. It is absolutely top of my never be without perfumes nowadays. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I love sweet lavender perfumes. I love licorice. It's just perfection, right? But it's a bit too light for cold weather, I would say. And this version is like properly just an intense version of the original. So you have much more vanilla in this one. So the original Mon Guerlain, you have like tonka and vanilla, and you get this just beautiful creamy sweetness. It's not obviously like too much vanilla for me. This one is really amped up vanilla, but it's also got amped up lavender, a little bit extra licorice, I'd say, and a little bit more patchouli. So it's slightly warmer, it's much stronger, it lasts longer, and so it is kind of the best value version of Mon Guerlain. So I think this just is the absolutely epitome of cozy, yummy, ladylike, pretty, sweet and sexy. It's just magical. This is lavender, mandarin orange and bergamot in the top, and I think that you do get a bit more fruit in this one when you first spray it. And then it's Tahitian vanilla and Madagascar vanilla, and that's in the mid notes, so you get it real quick. Iris, jasmine, sambac and rose. Then you've got coumarin, patchouli, licorice, benzoin, Australian sandalwood and white musk in the base. It's a masterpiece as well. The original is anyway, and this is just an intense version of the original. Magical, wonderful for this time of year, fabulous, warm, spicy. I find it very easy to wear. All right, so we're moving into things that I mean, this hasn't actually got licorice in it, although the EDP version does have licorice. This one, you might be surprised. If you've watched my videos before, you are going to be surprised to see this. But my La Rive dupe that I got of this kind of changed my mind about how I felt about this perfume. So this is Hypnotic Poison. I have mentioned before that I don't really like the root beer smell that you get with Hypnotic Poison. However, I really like the dry down of this perfume. I love the kind of creamy almondy vanilla that you get in this. And because I really started to like that, because I have a tester of this, I really also just sort of got used to how this smelt. Now, this is a modern bottle of Hypnotic Poison, so this is not the strongest version. It's not like the crazy strong original formulation, and I think probably that's one of the things that put me off, because also there's a hella amount of jasmine in this perfume. But it just started to work for me, and I just started to fall in love with it because it made me feel cozy and comfy and warm. So this one has top notes of coconut, plum and apricot, mid notes of Brazilian rosewood, jasmine, caraway seeds, tuberose, rose, lily of the valley, vanilla, almond, sandalwood and musk. This to me smells like it's got anise in it as well. It almost does have a slight touch of a hint of licorice or something. This is like a creamy spicy. And it's very beautiful. It's strong, but it's not like overpowering anymore, not the current version. So if you're more fussy, then it's kind of magical, but it definitely smells a bit like root beer. That must be the caraway seeds. Normally I get that with anise. But yeah, this, I mean, it's a classic for a reason. The Larive version called Sweet Hope, I think it's called. I have a little bottle of that. It has a different vanilla in it, but it's also very beautiful. That one is, I think, even more root beery, but it has I think that one is based more on the original formulation of Hypnotic Poison. So they're both excellent. I mean, let's stick with poison, shall we? Because the original, babe, I got rid of my actual bottle of poison because I have this dupe and I find it easier to wear because it's much lighter. But poison in general, and pretty much any dupes of poison, are lovely, warm, spicy. So this is called Wild Cobra by Saffron London. You can get this in the UK. You probably can't get it outside. But I do also really love the dry down of the current formulation of poison. The thing is, I just had like a 100ml bottle, and it is so powerful and strong that there was literally no way I was going to ever use that, so I passed it on. If I can ever get my hand on like a little 30ml bottle, then I probably will, because I got rid of my vintage eau de toilette as well, because again, they're just too strong. I'm not going to wear them all the time, but I'd like a little tiny bottle, you know. This is smoky spicy. So it's plummy, it's got honey in it, it's got like a bubblegummy tuberose, but it's got a ton of interesting spices going on. So you've got plum, wild berries, coriander and anise in the top, along with Brazilian rosewood. Then in the mid, you've got tuberose, incense, white honey, cinnamon, opoponox, carnation, jasmine, African orange flower and rose. Base notes are vanilla, amber, sandalwood, heliotrope, musk, vetiver and Virginia cedar. And this just is like a light and easy to wear version that retains the honeyed plum. And that's what I really love in poison. And lots of the other dupes that I've smelt don't really retain that plum, or they even replace it entirely. But this is, yeah, it's got a smokiness to it. So the new formulation, you really do have a very powerful smoky note that I take away as smelling a bit like cigarettes or cigarette ash or something. So it's very, very smoky, but it dries down into this intensely gothic smelling bubblegum, tuberose, plum and spices kind of scent with like a real honey running through it. It's just magical. But yeah, this is a very cold weather perfume for me, but it's totally awesome. This next one was recommended to me by a viewer, and we are moving into the last few perfumes, and they are pepper perfumes. So this is called Friction Night, and it's Friction Night for Her by FC UK, if you can see it there, the French Connection UK. I've got this massive bottle. Like, again, it's a bit of a shame you can't get smaller ones because I will never get through this huge bottle, but this is very sweet. It almost reminds me a bit of Lush American Cream in terms of the general texture, but it's like a very spicy grown-up version of that kind of smell, like a nighttime version. This has amaryllis and black pepper in the top, along with bergamot, mid notes of fig, jasmine and neroli, base notes tonka bean musk and woodsy notes. Weirdly though, there's something about the combination of these notes that I think smells like Coca-Cola, and it also reminds me of violet. So it's like there is a fizzy quality to this that really, really reminds me of Coca-Cola. And obviously Coca-Cola is like a kind of bright and citrusy, spice-based soda. So I love a cola note, but often, you know, I don't really like the rest of the things that are going on in the perfumes that have that. Normally, this one isn't supposed to have cola, but it smells like cola to me. And then it smells like violet. Violet I often find very fizzy smelling. And then it has a really creamy, tonkery dry down. It's a very interesting perfume that I don't think smells that much like the actual notes, but it's definitely warm, spicy. It could be sickly to some, I think. But I think if you wear this in cold weather, when you're out and about, it's going to make you feel very cozy, very happy. And it's a really affordable, absolute bargain. So then we have a new one to my collection. This one you can still get at the moment. It just came out. Lush still have it. This is from the Wicked collection. Let's make this a bit taller. So really cool bottle, as you can see. And this is Elphaba Throp. So this is the Wicked Witch perfume. How dare you? I mean, come on. This doesn't smell like a Wicked Witch. It smells like an absolute lushy. The notes in this one, I'll just start off straight away so you can get an overview. Heba wood oil, cedarwood absolute, vanilla absolute, Sicilian lemon oil, pink pepper oil, cardamom absolute, coumarin and oak moss. So this to me is very, very, very sweet in the dry down. I don't think of this as just a vanilla, like a green vanilla. This to me is a green, spicy kind of sweet shop. I mean, it really does smell, again, a bit like American cream. It's got a similar dry down, kind of smells a bit like white icing or something, you know, like fondant icing. And that is because the coumarin here is equally as strong, I'd say, as the vanilla in the dry down. But at first, it smells like a Christmas tree or something. It's got this kind of forest of lovely green woods and like so lovely. You get quite a lot of the lemon, I think, when you first spray this, but then you get this really warm pink pepper and the cardamom, I feel, comes out when it starts to dry down. It is such an interesting perfume. It starts in one place and ends up somewhere quite different. I think it's actually really easy to wear. I think this one, although I think they're all unisex, is quite feminine to me when it dries down. And I just think that the spiciness here is so lovely. It's like outdoor Christmas kind of spices. That's what I'm thinking for this one. It's just really pretty, and I wanted to mention it because this is a limited edition, so it won't be there for very long. And we're going to finish with another Lush. So, oh my goodness, this one. Now, this is genuinely a masterpiece to me. I really think, considering you can get this, I think, for either £25 or £30 for a 30ml, it's unbelievable. And this is from a lady who doesn't like patchouli. So this is Lord of Misrule. Look at the colour of that. It really smells like that too. Lord of Misrule from Lush. This is a perfume that is a vanilla patchouli. So it's a proper green patchouli. It has an earthy patchouli, an earthy green patchouli, but it doesn't smell like mud. It just smells like greenery, you know. A very strong vanilla, and it has a lot of black pepper. It's not the kind of pepper that makes my nose tingle. It is just so warm. I love this in cold weather. It makes me feel amazing. And I fell in love at first with the body wash of this. I get something almost minty from that, and I almost get something a bit minty from this. It almost smells a bit herbal, you know. There's something about the patchouli mixed with that black pepper that gives it kind of an aromatic essential oil feel. But when this dries down, oh my goodness, the vanilla is so warm and beautiful. It is just absolute magic. And it's ridiculously affordable. It's very unisex, this one. It is probably sweeter than a lot of men's perfumes. But because of that kind of pepper and patchouli vibe, I mean, I feel like there's definitely like tonka or coumarin in here. Because it has, yeah, it's coumarin. Because it has that same classic Lush vibe of being a very sweet, creamy vanilla. And I think the coumarin really helps out with that kind of sugary yumminess. But yeah, this is special. And I actually genuinely am not a patchouli lover. But this turned my head. And I absolutely loved it last winter. So yeah, I'm going to finish with that one as one of the most amazingly good value, warm, spicy perfumes. And yeah, let me know down below if you have any that you really love, if I've missed anything off here that you think is amazing. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was brief enough. I had so many perfumes to talk about. Sometime next year I'll do my kind of light spicy perfumes, my easy reach light spices, because I've got some of those as well. But yeah, let me know if you like any of these. Let me know what you would add to the list. Let me know what you'll be wearing this winter and what your favourite spices are. If you like my videos, please do consider subscribing. It makes a huge difference to my channel. And thank you again for watching. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the chilly weather and the warm perfumes. Bye.